See, when we were talking about reunion, level up reunion, this is what I was talking about. Like,
so you had a good time in Cape Town?
I enjoyed myself.
You had a lot of fun with Phyna as well.
Good memories, everybody.
this is it. This is the reunion proper.
You were with Groovy at the time. So he wasn't enough fun for you at the time?
Yeah, we were just having fun. And fun was good.
Hey Bethans, what's up and welcome back to my channel. My name is Austin Betha. I'm so glad to have you guys here. If today is your first time on my channel, please do well to hit the subscribe button before you leave. Also give this video a very big thumbs up right now or at the end if you enjoyed watching it. Okay guys, I'm so excited. Like today they didn't come to play because what? Ebuka came prepared. You know, Ebuka came with all his questions. He knew who he wanted to attack. He knew who had to be attacked. He knew when to stop somebody from saying something that will not cover the next person from saying the other thing. You know, like it was a lot. Okay, like my note is full. Only 30 minutes and I have all of this to tell you guys. Like you better get your, okay, it's too late to take popcorn. Get your water ready because you need to drink water to digest all these things. But I want to say a very big thank you to the organizers of the show. First of all, I'm thanking them for the camera quality. I'm also thanking them for the outfits the housemates had on, you know, the makeup and all of that. They were looking gorgeous, like all of them, even Ebuka, of course. Ebuka normally, not beforehand. But yeah, they were looking so good, you know, in the studio. They were looking all put together. I'm like, who be all these people? Not be the same housemates where we know, but yeah, they were looking really, really nice. And I just love the fact that, you know, the sound was crisp. The video crisp, everything was just on point. And the drama was even crisp. Because waiting they happened. Guys, let me tell you, they picked up from where they stopped yesterday and it was still about that same trip to South Africa, you know, Cape Town to be precise. And I remember that somebody had dropped a comment in the last video saying, oh, for Pepsi to be trending like this, they paid heavily. I mean, they were one of the major sponsors. So yeah, it's allowed and we get it. Okay, like Pepsi, we get it. Thank you. Thank you for all you do for us. Okay. But yeah, Ebuka has started out his questions, you know, with Daniela. And it's like, Daniela, how did you feel, you know, being with the other housemates together and all of that? And she's like, oh, it was cool. You know, just being with everybody. It was nice. Of course, we know how Daniela speaks. She speaks really well. So yeah, she just answered that question. And then Ebuka is like, okay, was it awkward being in the same space with Khalid and of course, you know, Dotun by extension? But she's like, well, it wasn't awkward because she had seen the guy prior to the trip and they had talked. Like she had basically seen everybody prior to the trip and for her it was okay. Now Ebuka asked Dotun, was he awkward? And he was like, well, it wasn't really awkward. And he now caught himself. I was like, yeah, at the beginning, things get as it be, but you know, he spoke to Khalid. In fact, he said he had spoken to Khalid about the situation before the trip and you know, they had talked things over and they were cool, you know, so it wasn't anything, you know, it wasn't that deep. Ebuka now asked Chichi, we heard that during that trip you had a fallout with a lot of housemates. And she's like, no, let me correct that notion. I say, Chichi, what's in the apple for you? Nothing when Musa no goes in forget. He said, no, let me correct that notion. I did not have fallouts with a lot of housemates. In fact, the only person I had a fallout with was Deji.
Chichi, how was Cape Town?
Cape Town was awesome.
But that's not what I heard.
Let me quickly correct that. I didn't fall out with so many housemates.
Just a few.
The only person I had issues with was Deji.
Hello, not be the question where Ebuka asked you that. They say for South Africa, who you fall out with because you're referring to the house. And she was like, oh, okay, for the South African trip, I didn't really fall out with a lot. I said, Chichi, relax, your bloody hot, you know? And then they were like, okay, fine. Groovy and Phyna, what's up? Like, how was South Africa? And then Groovy was like, oh yeah, I had fun with all the housemates, you know, with everybody there, blah, blah, blah. And then Ebuka is like, okay, Phyna, is she included in this, you know, all the housemates, you know, everybody just talking like saying, you know, they say, now our Phyna, now I be everybody. You just say, I still see this was. And I was like, yeah, that he had fun with everybody, blah, blah, blah. Ebuka now asked Phyna, how was South Africa? Did you have fun? Mama said, no, she did not have fun. They said, okay, what do you mean by you did not have fun? She now said, that the weather was too cold, you know, so she was not able to adapt to the weather, blah, blah, blah. And Ebuka was like, okay, but Groovy was there. So are you saying that you did not have fun with Groovy. And she was like, what we had there, we're just, we're just chilling that, it was fun and fun was good. I'm like, hey, wait till we hear this one. These two people will be saying now through them we know waiting the apple for South Africa. Go. Guys, have you forgotten? Hey. Nothing will break up, not go cause. I've been what did they say? They said they were just having fun or whatever it is. Nothing we're having fun, not go cause, because now they act like say, oh no, it was nothing. Meanwhile, that South Africa trip, Groovy and Phyna not let us hear word. I remember vividly. Vivi, imagination. No. I remember vividly for that matter, because tough na not Groovy C road. On and not Groovy C road, because anyway, Groovy, I see even their stories that time was on fire. Now some of them sit down there, they do no. I said no. I know what I want to talk, when I talk now I get on her mouth, let me get my eye, let me know what I see. So let's keep it moving. Anyways, guys, it was now time for them to talk about Adekunle's newsletter. And of course, Ebuka has started the conversation with Christy O. And Christy O was like, for her, sometimes it's just really surprising, that everybody will be together. Next day, something will start trending on the internet. And she's like, but we're all just here. How did this thing start trending? And Ebuka was like, okay, can you give us an example? And then she made reference to Eloswag's tweet. You guys remember, during that South African trip, Eloswag was giving us content back to back, and I remain grateful to Eloswag, because a lot of the housemates, they just stay there, they don't want to post anything, they don't want me to see what's in the apple. But Eloswag was constantly on a live stream, he was constantly telling us and showing us the P. So yeah, Eloswag was definitely going live so much, and he was tweeting so much, even though at some point it was beginning to piss a lot of people off. But yeah, there was one of the tweets he had made, and he had written, use your @ button. You guys, you remember, we all talked about it. And then it was him referring to the whole newsletter thing that Adekunle had written. You guys, we also discussed that Adekunle's newsletter, where he had written like a full page and a half, I mean 3 pages, where he just they write, and it felt like he was literally just shading the rest of the housemates. Like, there's nothing Adekunle will tell me now that I will believe, because all these ones he was trying to now act like, oh no, I was talking to my fans. Hello, uncle. You were talking to your fans, but you were shading the other housemates. True or true? Because that's the way they talk now. I'm not believer. Guys, Ebuka had mentioned the whole Azul situation that also ensued between Adekunle and Shegs. You guys remember, as part of that newsletter, Adekunle had said something in the lines of, oh, all these your faves, that are constantly on a live stream, that's not how their lives is, something in that line. And he had also made reference to the fact that everything they were eating there or doing there in South Africa, Cape Town, was courtesy of Pepsi and MultiChoice. So he was indirectly saying that Azul, who other Azul? You remember that one too trended? That Azul, that everything, it was MultiChoice and Pepsi. And then, for Shegs, it didn't make any sense, because first of all, Naim paid for the Azul. And what he told us today, he said it was on a low key. He didn't know that there was anybody on the live stream, trying to capture the moment. He was just having fun. Yes, as much as the trip was sponsored by MultiChoice and Pepsi, the housemates also had things that they did for themselves. Like he mentioned, Groovy. This same Groovy and Phyna, where they do like say they don't know each other. Say the two of them, they also had their thing together, him and Bella, just friends, Doyin and her friends as well. So for him, like, he did not see the need for, Adekunle to have written something like that, because writing something like that would definitely mean that he wasn't the one that bought the Azul. And that was exactly what prompted him to now make that post where he had said, "Na me buy the Azul," like, so that you guys will not get it twisted, like, na you order Azul, okay? And Adekunle was just there acting all confused, like, oh, when I was seeing all this art thing, where Eloswag Att said use your @ button, and where these people, like, that he was confused because he wasn't talking to them, that he had written that as a newsletter to his fans, and that if they had read the newsletter till the end, he had said, I wish all the level 1 housemates well, I wish all the level 2 housemates well. And Ebuka was trying to tell him that, guy, look, as much as you're saying this now, just look at how it comes off, you were saying these things to your fans, but then reading through, we could literally see, slight shades. In fact, some of them were not slight, they were not slight at all. Baba was throwing shade, was literally throwing shades at everybody that he could. So now, them reacting, you're not acting like, oh, if I was going to act anybody, if I was going to actually tag them, I would do it, nobody's going to beat me, blah, 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 blah. And then even with the Azul situation, guys, I wasn't even in the same space where Shegs was. I did not even know that there was an Azul situation, blah blah blah. Oga, you did not know that there was an Azu situation, but the Azu situation trended on the internet, and the following day you released a newsletter saying everything that they are doing there, including the things they're eating and drinking, is all courtesy Pepsi. So brotherly, hello, stop lying to yourself. And I love how Bella just addresses, like, guy, everything you wrote there, you were throwing shades. Like, there's no need to start saying, you did not do this, you were throwing shades. Those were shades. And if you're saying now that the only person that reached out to you after the whole shade thing, that it was only Christio that came to ask you out of the whole 27 housemates that read your newsletter, only Christio asked you. Bella told him straight right there and then that, look, Oga, you posted something on the internet, so it is only normal, it is only right for you to get your response on the internet. Don't be expecting anybody to call you, because when you dey type am, when you dey write the newsletter, you no know say na internet dey go abi. I loved Bella's response. Like, Bella, collect this one, collect her. Anyway, after plenty dragging and Ebuka trying to tell him, look, guy, even if you did not mean it that way, can you see how people could have misinterpreted it and just, thought about it as shades and all of that? And I was like, well, the truth of the matter is that wasn't his intention, but then that he could see it and all of that. I'm like, well, whatever, let's just move on, okay? Now, at this point, they moved on to the whole Famsavi and Eloswag situation. You guys remember, Famsavi and Eloswag were roommates even before the show started, like roommates for the lockdown period, of 1 week. They were roommates, they had talked together, they ate together, they gisted about a lot of things and all of that. So for Famsavi, when Eloswag won the head of house challenge, he was really happy. He was so sure that he wasn't leaving that week. But then he said he was surprised when Big Brother said, Famsavi, you have been evicted. And he's like, guy, you'll be my roommate. We talked about a lot of things. We shared a lot of things. Like, there were other people you could have actually evicted or put up for nomination. Why did it have to be me? And so for him, yeah, he felt really betrayed. And of course, when Ebuka asked Eloswag was like, guys, it wasn't like I just went there and said, oh, Famsavi. It was a group thing. And you guys, you remember when they were doing the whole voting stuff at the beginning, especially the level, is it? Not be the trenches, or the other people, what to be their name now, I don't forget their names. But yeah, they had this thing that they would usually do, when the housemates are up, they will now decide, okay, let's put this person. So for Eloswag, his argument was, as much as I did not like that, he left like that, I cried even when he left, but it wasn't just my decision. I had to go with the rest of the housemates and their decisions, because even like they kept on calling different names, that even Chichi called Phyna's name, and Phyna was like he just threw that one inside, but they did not really dwell on that. And then Ebuka was like, so how are you guys now? Like, have you resolved it? And for Eloswag, is like, yeah, I have resolved it. Like, I've spoken to him. In fact, my mom called Famsavi, to speak to him about it. But then it took like a top tier actress to settle the situation for them. And for Famsavi, it's like, well, yes, his mom called and I expressed how I was feeling to his mom. And then because I was like, okay, so are you guys cool, or you're cool but you don't want to be friends? And for Famsavi, it's like, yes, we're cool, but then we can't be friends because I don't trust the guy. If they leave me and this guy, if he poison me, I'm like, okay, it's not even that deep, but yeah, he expressed himself. And Eloswag was like, well, it's cool, like I've tried to sort things out, but at this point it is what it is, right? Because Famsavi actually kept on referring to the fact that, look, Groovy and what's his name now, Shegs, they were roommates and they were really cool. And even when the housemates were trying to put Groovy up, Shegs constantly kept on fighting for Groovy. Same thing with Chomzi and Ilebayi, that Chomzi kept on fighting for Ilebayi. So why couldn't Eloswag do the same for him? I mean, as much as I get his point, yeah, it is pain. Yeah, I get it, but yeah, it is what it is. Like, the show is over and you guys are all doing well. So moving on, guys, it was time to talk about Doyin and Cyph, and of course, who Deji. You guys remember how Doyin and Cyph we're literally always looking forward to the Saturday parties, just to see them cuddle, kiss, and all of that stuff. And Ebuka had asked her, what it was about Cyph, and she told us that she was really attracted to his confidence and his maturity, and for her, that was something that she really looked forward to in a guy. Then when Ebuka was like, okay, so remember what you said about, Cyph to Deji. You guys should remember the statement of how wanting, it was just similar to what, what's her name now, Erica had said about Kidwaya and Lekon, how wanting Lekon's brains, Lekon's mind in Kidwaya's body or something like that. And Doyin had made similar statements to Deji, just wanting a Cyph in Deji. It didn't make sense. And for her, she literally apologized. Like, I give it up for Doyin. Guys, this is actually the first apology so far in the show. Of course, we're hoping to get more apologies from other housemates, but yeah, Doyin was like, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, that was really low of me. She even went on ahead to tell us that she had already spoken to Cyph, she had apologized, you know, that statement was, you know, was wrong, and she apologized, and you know, that was really sweet. That was really sweet. And of course, Ebuka asked her why she didn't really gel with her level housemates, you know, and she was like, well, for her, competition is not even that deep. Like, as much as she wants to compete, she doesn't think it has to be a dirty game. And for her at the time, she felt like her fellow housemates were, you know, taking things too personal. And for her, like, it did not just go with her, so yeah, they didn't gel. Now it was time for us to talk about Brian and Diana and Amaka and Guinea Fire. I'm just like, okay. Now Ebuka has started the question with Brian, and it's like, Brian, tell us, like, what was it with you and Diana? Because I mean, at the beginning of the show, immediately you saw Diana, you're like, man, this babe, you know, he kept on talking about Diana. He didn't mind the age difference, he didn't mind that Diana is older than him, he just wanted to like link up with the girl, blah blah blah. Now they asked him, he say, you know, just catching cruise, so it's not that deep. You know, me, I like to play, I like to catch cruise. And because like, no, that's not cruise, okay? You were literally talking about it, blah blah blah. It's like, well, that it was just cruise. That yes, Diana is a fine babe, you know. See, I'm now, she said now, but you know, at the end of the day, for him, it was just cruise and all of that. Now, Ebuka asked him, but did you know that your guy, Giddy Fire, had an eye for Diana? And he's like, he don't know anything, no. And that was how we got to the point where we started talking about Diana, Giddy Fire, and Amaka's triangle. And you know, Amaka was like, without enough information, she fancied Giddy Fire. And you know, she spoke to Diana, who was her roommate during the lockdown. And you know, they had talked about, oh, we're never going to fight because of the guy. You know, she had even told Diana at the time that her game was, you know, her being a player and all of that. And so when the whole triangle thing started, she said she had asked Diana, and we saw her ask Diana more than twice, you know, oh, is something going on between you and Giddy Fire? And that one would not literally tell her anything. And it almost seemed like she was trying to be with Giddy Fire, but she didn't want Amaka to know about it. Or like, it was just really messy, you know. It was messy because there was a time when Diana was fighting Giddy Fire over the way he was getting close to Rachel, you know. So there was all of that. For Amaka, it's like, I asked her several times, and I would always go with what she told me. She told me that there was nothing going on between she and Giddy Fire. Even after the show, she said the same thing to me, and so that's what I'm going by, you know. But for her and Giddy Fire, she fancied the guy without enough information, you know. And then Diana's like, but you're saying it now as if, no, you know, I wanted to have something with him and then I was trying to hide it from you. Babe, you already told me during the lockdown that your game plan was, you know, just coming into the house and being a player. And so I allowed you to do what you wanted to do. I liked Giddy Fire, yes, but then I was older than him and I felt like, you know, you guys were age mates, so you can go along. And then Giddy Fire was like, we know the age mate, though. I'm just like, what is all this rubbish?
I'm not exposing you, but I'm just saying that for me it was cruise. When we were in lockdown, we had a conversation. First of all, we say we will never quarrel for a guy, and we say everything about the house, it will be cruise. Yes or no?
Diana.
Amakana, yes or no?
I don't know what to answer you. You can't tell me to tell you yes or no.
I don't want to be exposed here as if you told me something. I wanted to hook you. When I hook you, wouldn't be my business reason for me to go on.
Guys, take your minds back. We clearly saw Diana fighting over Giddy Fire. Yeah, no one give the boy breathing space. So which one is all this? I did not like. Hey, but guys, let me tell you, I love the way Amaka answered her question. She was really put together. Like, I loved it. I loved the way she was calm about the whole situation. And it's like, yo, I told you, don't ask me to say yes or no as a response. I'm telling you that yes, we had this conversation. I'm like, I love this, Amaka. I really do. But yeah, that's basically where they ended it. Like they said, they're going to continue from there tomorrow. And guys, let me not lie, I'm beyond excited seeing that we could even cover this amount of, you know, drama in just 30 minutes. Like, this is content. This is what we signed up for, and I am loving every bit of it. Guys, let me know, did you watch it? Did you enjoy it? Like, what was your highlight? For me, like, the entire show in itself tonight was a highlight for me. I loved every bit of it. I love that Ebuka was asking them questions as they hot, and then when somebody is trying to talk off point, it's like, wait, before that, what happened? I'm just like, yes, this is the Ebuka that we know, and I have really missed this Ebuka. And please, can they let Ebuka remain this Ebuka till the end of this reunion? Even though I don't know how long this reunion is going to last, but guys, I legit enjoyed today's episode. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. If you have not subscribed to my channel, What are you waiting for? Please hit on the subscribe button, okay? Share this video with your friends and your family. And of course, we'll have more conversations on the next one, okay? Bye, guys.